What is going on, everybody? So, and we're back with a Monday WrestleMania Night 2 review for April the 3rd, 2022. And, wow. What is there to say about WrestleMania Night 2? This was, if you want to compare Night 1 to Night 2 was an absolute letdown. I said it on Saturday. I'll say it again tonight. WrestleMania was not as good as Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. Supercard of Honor, from top to bottom, was just great wrestling all fucking night. Both shows tonight and last night, even though WrestleMania Night 1 was a good show, minus of course Charbon and a couple of little things, was a pretty decent show. Tonight, you could have trimmed out 95% of this show tonight, stuck it on the Night 1, and had a 5-hour show at WrestleMania. I know they want to do the Night 2 night thing, but if you're going to actually go into a WrestleMania and give us 2 fucking nights, you best believe I want to see matches that warrant Night 1 and Night 2. We didn't get that tonight. AJ Styles versus Edge was fine. It wasn't as good as it could have been, but it's fine. We also had Edge start building his faction tonight, which has been rumored. Women's Tag Team Fatal 4-Way match, that was an absolute a match that did not need to be on the show. Bobby Lashley and Omos had no business being on this show. And Ridge Holland and Sheamus versus The New Day had no business being on WrestleMania. Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn was an absolute embarrassment. Just don't even want to talk about that. And the only thing on this show that really was fine and good was the triple threat match. Edge versus AJ, Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee, and what happened after that match, we'll talk about that when we get there. Even the main match was Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, copy and paste every other match that they had. They did nothing different. It was nothing new, except for Roman Reigns talking to the talking to himself. That was about it. The rest of the entire match was just a big time disappointment. And no Rock, which I didn't think so, because I'm pretty sure Dwayne's off shooting a movie out of the country or something, so he wasn't going to be available anyway to all the peons who thought that The Rock was going to show up tonight. So, before we get into anything, we get to America the Beautiful, which don't care for. Triple H makes his way out to the ring. He's out there. He does his entire entrance. The fans are going absolutely nuts for him. He walks into the ring. He gets a microphone. He also is given a pair of his boots. There's a long-standing tradition. Even Gable Steveson, when he was in his final college match and won the NCAA championship, took his boots off and left them on the mat. That is your sign of retirement. So Triple H grabs his boots, puts them in the ring, gets on the mic, and he says he just wanted to come out to say thank you and show, because he loves this so much, he wants to show the love that he has as the only way he can, and he says, welcome to WrestleMania in the only way Triple H can. The lights, the pyro goes off and everything, and that is how WrestleMania Night 2 started. Honestly, I thought it was a perfect way to start this show, giving Triple H his last WrestleMania moment he will have ever. I like the fact that they did it, and he got to hug his daughters who were in the front row for this moment, which was pretty cool. And that was that. We go into our first match here: the Raw Tag Team Titles, the Street Profits versus the Mafia Academy versus the RK Bro. This was a very fun opener. All 3 teams went out there and gave you a match to actually look forward to and a match to actually watch on WrestleMania, because, as I said, most of everything else on this show absolutely was just Piss break match, piss break match, piss break match. So we go to the ring and out come the champs and everyone. The bell rings. Gable gets slapped by Ford, then kicked by Riddle for a 1 count. Ford and Riddle go at it, and Ford levels him. Gable with a German suplex. Orton comes in, but they get tossed. But gets tossed out. Ford gets sent to the out. Otis sends Ford out. Otis is alone now as he poses. All 6 superstars hit the ring and brawl until it comes down to Gable and Ford. Ford runs at Gable in the corner, but instead he leaps over the ring post and splashes everyone else who were on the floor near the timekeeper's area. Gable goes up top and nails a moonsault onto the other 5 superstars, which was picture perfect. And I look at Sherba and her shitty moonsault, and I'm like, bitch, you need to take some notes because Chad Gable showed you how to do a moonsault. If you can't do one as good as Chad Gable, Io Shirai, or even your husband, your fiance, maybe you shouldn't be doing a fucking moonsault. Just saying. Otis and Gable double team Riddle, and Otis drops him on his head. Otis with a short turn on clothesline to Riddle. Otis yells out and nails another clothesline to Riddle. Otis with a splash in the middle of the ring, but he doesn't cover. Instead, he slaps Riddle around. Otis with a scoop slam continues to manhandle Riddle in the middle of the ring. Gable tags in for a Northern Light suplex for a 2 count. On Riddle, Gable keeps control of Riddle until Ford comes back in with a big drop kick. Gable turns it in back around. For a few minutes, Dawkins tags in and unloads on Gable and Riddle with a big power move, launching him around the ring. Gable covers Riddle onto Otis, but Otis breaks it up with a big splash. Ford, I think it was. More back and forth with Riddle being dominated by the others. Orton finally tags in as fans pop. Orton unloads on Ford with his signature moves as fans go wild. Orton goes for the top draping DDT, but Ford slides to the floor. Orton blocks a shot into the announce table and sends Ford into it. As you know, it's not a Randy Orton match if he's not dropping somebody on the announce table. Then slams Ford on it again. Gable approaches, but Orton slams him on top of the announce table as well. That's in Orton's contract. Drop as many people on the announce table for the match. He returns to the ring and grabs Ford with the draping DDT. Riddle does the same with the Dawkins, and fans pop as they hit the double draping DDT into the Profits. RK-Bro plays for the crowd for another big pop. They both drop down and prepare for the RKOs, but Otis and Gable pull them to the floor and send them into the barrier for boos. Otis comes in, levels Dawkins to put Ford on his shoulders. It's a big picture perfect Steiner Bulldog. The Steiners who were here for the Hall of Fame last night, and for the induction on Friday and the showcase last night. When they saw this, they probably had a smile on their face. Picture perfect. And honestly, if they're gonna keep the Alpha Academy around, that needs to be their finisher because that fits them perfectly. As for Fatal Bomb to Ford, but Riddle and Dawkins shove both of them to the floor. Riddle gets sent to the floor by Dawkins. The Profits double team Gable now, and they hit the super blockbuster to send Gable off Dawkins' shoulders. Gable somehow kicks out. Fans chant, "This is awesome." Ford knocks Riddle off the apron, and Otis catches him but tosses him to the floor. Barely caught him, mind you. Dawkins with the sky high to Orton. Dawkins runs the ropes and leaps out onto Otis. Ford tags in, goes to the top to fly on the Orton with the splash, but that fucking Riddle jumps onto the ropes, springboards onto the ropes, grabs Dawkins and hits an RKO to Ford. Fucking beautiful. Nails him with the huge RKO. Fans pop for this. Ford rolls to the floor and avoid the pin. Orton catches Gable, who comes in tries to go for a splash into his own RKO. 1, 2, 3. Rated the RK-Bro keep the championships and win one hell of an opener. Obviously, this was the better of the 2 openers because of the unfortunate injury to Rick Boogs, where he tore his quad and a bunch of other things. And apparently, his quad was worked too much for his was worked too hard or something, and it just completely tore off the bone. Again, speedy recovery to Rick Boogs, but this was honestly a very fun opening match. And honestly, one of the best matches of the night. After the match, Orton and Riddle celebrate, the music hits, the Profits come in the ring, meet the champs in the middle of the ring with some red Solo Cups. They get 2 drinks to toast, but they stop and invite Gable Steveson, who was at ringside for this. Chad Gable comes in and he smacks the red Solo Cup from Gable Steveson. So everyone off goes, "Oh shit, this ain't off fight. We're just gonna go outside and you take care of your business, Gable." He says, "Dude," Gable takes his shirt off, and Gable says, Chat, goddamn, this is gonna be so much. I hope Chad Gable gets to keep his name because Gable on Gable would be fucking hilarious. Says you might be getting, you might be new to this, but when you're in the ring with me, make sure you shoosh. Fucking Gable Stevenson grabs him into a belly and belly and just throws him backwards. And he goes to the ringside. They get a solo cup to him. They all toast to WrestleMania, drink some water, whatever the fuck's in the solo cup, whatever it is, and that was that. So, honestly, this was the best opening they could do for this after the Triple H stuff and everything. Show goes downhill from here, plain and simple. Bobby Lashley versus Omos. Bobby Lashley is a babyface. I do not like Bobby Lashley as a babyface. Bobby Lashley is the perfect, quintessentially perfect as a fucking heel. Comes out, you have the match. Basically, the match was Omos shows off his power by throwing Bobby Lashley around. Bobby Lashley with the spear to his back. Another spear, 1, 2, 3. Bobby Lashley beats Omos. What else can you say? Omos should be future endeavored very, very soon. He has nothing left. His mystique not being taken off his feet was destroyed on Monday. Being pinned tonight did nothing for him. Omos is dead. Moving on. Michael Cole is commenting now. He welcomes us to join Pat McAfee, who says he's going to be... There's only 2 people who wrestled on WrestleMania and called matches in the same WrestleMania. That's, of course, him and Jerry the King Lawler. Pat McAfee joins them tonight. Anything goes match. Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. -5 stars! Embarrassing. Sami deserves better. Moving on. Johnny Knoxville won with a mousetrap. Fuck off. Not care. You see the women's tag team match. Shayna Baszler and Natalya versus Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley versus Naomi and Sasha Banks versus Carmella and Zelina Vega. Honestly, I thought, they had timing issues yesterday. They had timing issues. That's why Sheamus and them were booked for tonight instead of last night. I was thinking, It wouldn't surprise me if this match lasted like 2 minutes. Everyone got their shit in and they were done. But they got about 5-10 minutes. This match had no business being on. These last 3 matches had no business being on WrestleMania. If you take away Bobby Lashley versus Omos, the Sami Zayn match in this match, it literally could have just threw everything else on to night 1 and made it a fucking 5-hour WrestleMania, and you would have been fine. The problem that they've had with having a one-night WrestleMania is that they would go 8 fucking hours long. But I digress. Come to the end of this match, Carmella with a quick 2 count to Naomi. Carmella throws a fit now. Naomi with a big kick to Carmella's face. Banks goes to the top and hits a frog splash on the Carmella for another 2 count. Banks with a bank statement on Carmella, but Vega pulls her out as Naomi's trying to stop Vega, but Vega gets her pulled out. Banks hits a Meteora onto Vega. Carmella brings Banks back into the ring, but Banks counters. Naomi tags in and kicks Carmella. Banks and Naomi with the big double team to Carmella. 1, 2, 3. Sasha Banks and Naomi win the tag team titles. Apparently, and I think this is right, this is Sasha Banks' first win at WrestleMania. Can you believe that? Sasha Banks has been on the main roster since 2015. 7 years. Well, she came in June of 2015, so this is about the 6th year she could be at WrestleMania. This is the first time she has won at WrestleMania. That's crazy to think of. Now, I will say, you got Sasha Banks and Naomi, Team Bad. You can call them Team Bad. That was their thing back in the day. You want to call them Team Bad? You do that. You have Liv to Riot, Rhea Ripley, and Liv Morgan. Liv to Brutality, I think is what they call themselves. There you go. You can book that match at WrestleMania Backlash. I don't think anybody would be mad. Let those 2 teams feud over the tag team titles. Zelina Vega and Carmella can go away. Nobody gives a shit about them anyway. But the problem with the women's tag team titles is they're an afterthought. I wish you could say, Sasha Banks and Naomi could make them mean something, but they're worthless. I'm hoping we can get, like I said, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan versus these 2, because I would love to see Rhea Ripley versus Sasha Banks versus Liv Morgan versus Naomi, Naomi versus Rhea Ripley. Have that be a feud going into WrestleMania Backlash and give us something for at least a month to try and make the tag team titles seem like they mean something. Let's see here. Edge versus AJ Styles. Man, AJ comes out, does his pose on the top rope on the stage. Well, the pyro decided to give him a nice little visit because you see as AJ's walking down, on his cheek just a little bit of blood running down. Like the match hasn't even started and AJ Styles is already bleeding. Edge had the entrance of the weekend. And that even counts Pat McAfee coming out to Seven Nation Army with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, giving him a grand entrance. And we see a tower with flames all around it. And Edge rises up on his throne on the top of his tower of omnipotence. And holy shit, was it fucking epic. While Alter Bridge, the other side, blares to about 65,000, even though they said 77,000. WWE loves to inflate their numbers. Anyway, this was epic. Comes down, he's wearing this, like, dark, brooding robe. He comes to the ring, takes the robe off. He's not wearing the Rated R Superstar gear anymore. It's black, it's got skulls all over it, the weight, the scale is on one side. He's like got this awesome looking new gear. The match could have been a little bit better. It just felt like it started off very, very slow. I don't know what it is with AJ Styles and have these most anticipated matches at WrestleMania, and they just seem to get off on a slow start. Unlike, the Shinsuke Nakamura match, which never seemed to get out of second gear, this match did start to pick up towards the end of the match. Fortunately, I had to use the bathroom during this match because once you gotta go, you gotta go. So I missed about 5 minutes. And unfortunately, it was towards the end. So, like, gosh, it's like, I'm trying to hold it in to get to somewhere like a piss break match, but it's like, you gotta go, you gotta go. So, they tangle in the top corner. AJ managed to hit a superplex to Edge on the apron. Beautiful looking. They both hit hard and fall to the floor. They barely make it back at the 9 count. It was like 9.5. AJ with the springboard 450 to the apron, landing on Edge's back. AJ rolls Edge over to the pin, but Edge barely kicks out in time. More back and forth now. AJ hits the Styles Clash on the third attempt. He was trying multiple times in this match to hit the Styles Clash. Finally got it. Edge barely kicks out, and fans in attendance can't believe it as well as AJ. AJ goes back to the apron for the phenomenal forearm, and all of a sudden, camera pan. You see AJ looking over. Camera pans back. Damian Priest is just standing, not doing anything. He's just watching. AJ turns back around, he's looking at Damian. He turns back to do the phenomenal forearm, allowing Edge to hit the spear for the 1, 2, 3. Edge picks up the win. After the match, Damian Priest slowly gets in the ring. It's down to one knee, like Undertaker style. Edge does the same thing. They're both smiling and laughing. Edge tells him, just motions for him to rise. They turn to the crowd. Both raise their arms up. And that is the start of whatever is going to be happening with Edge. Now, it came out that it's been rumored that Edge is going to be starting his own faction in WWE. I don't know who else is going to be here, but if anybody needed some kind of rehabilitation for his career and keep it on the path that it was before the beginning of this year started, because he came to he hit 2022 and WWE decided they got bored, or Vince McMahon got bored with Damian Priest. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Damian Priest and the being under the learning tree of one Adam Copeland, aka Edge, is going to be good things for Damian Priest. They announced the bullshit number of 78,453. We all know that's fake. Kingston and Woods versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus. This match was a SmackDown match on WrestleMania. The story of this match was Pete Dunne was running around trying to get involved with the match and deal with the New Day and try and beat up the New Day, but Sheamus couldn't control him, and the referee tried to get him to stop and everything, allowing a distraction. Biggie, by the way, the New Day, A+ on the gear. They came out dressed in gear that what Big E would wear, gyrating their hips like Big E would do. Michael Cole on commentary did mention that it is the color scheme that Big E wore the night he won the WWE Championship, so they're playing homage to their boy Big E. If Big E's neck wouldn't have been broken or fractured in that spot with Ridge Holland, this was supposed to be a 6-man tag match. That's why they brought Beat Dunn up. It was supposed to be the Unholy Trinity, as Michael Cole calls them, which I think is a fucking fantastic name, versus the New Day. Unfortunately, we got this match. The match lasted, I'm going to have to get this number here. Give me a second. This match didn't even last 2 fucking minutes. Like, seriously, why are you going to have me have this? Why are we going to have this match on here? It just didn't make any sense. Obviously, Edge and AJ Styles had the longest match of the night, and the shortest match went to the Omos and... Oh, I'm sorry, it went to this match, actually. This is just... It's like, they cut it last night for time. You couldn't find a minute and 40 seconds on the show last night, even though Brick Boogs went down with an injury and cut that match short from 15 minutes to 7. You couldn't find time for that last night. You put it on here, only for it to end in less than 2 minutes. What a waste of a WrestleMania match. They gave us, we hadn't, this match only lasted a minute 40, so they had to bring The Undertaker back out to walk on stage, walk from one side, wave to everybody, walk to the other side, wave to everybody. And unlike last night, he didn't look back and then raise his arm, which I thought he was going to do last night. I would have loved if they would have played his music as it was, and he came out on the motorcycle, rode down to the ring, slowly, but rode down to the ring in this eerie way as the music's playing all the way around, and raised his hand and left that way. I think that would have been great. But no, they had him just sit there. And they had to milk some time because, they booked this match tonight at a minute 40. Fuck that shit. Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee. And this match is so big to Vince McMahon that Vince McMahon comes down to the ring to introduce his protege that he says one day will be a Universal Champion, Austin Theory. Theory comes down, he has his entrance, him and Vince McMahon take a selfie together. Pat McAfee's music plays, and it's 7 Nation Army by the White Stripes. Crowd went fucking nuts. Crowd was singing it. The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders come out, do their dance and everything, and then make a what do you want to call it? Make pretty much a tunnel for McAfee to walk out, and they follow him. They come to the ring. Vince McMahon's sitting off by commentary. Michael Cole says he's not supposed to be biased or anything, but he's going to be very biased tonight. And this was the most energetic I have seen Michael Cole in a very long fucking time. He was standing up the entire time. He was going crazy from Pat McAfee. He wanted Pat McAfee to win this match more than anything. McAfee unloads and drops Theory with a big right hand as Vince McMahon looks on from ringside. Theory turns around and works McAfee over, dropping him on the corner. Theory looks at Vince and he all smiles in his chair at ringside. McAfee with a big spinning elbow out of nowhere to drop Theory as Cole and Saxton. Well, Cole cheers like he is the biggest fucking Pat McAfee cheerleader you have ever seen. McAfee with a big Hurricane Rana for a 2 count, which the Hurricane Rana wasn't the best looking thing, but he's not an everyday wrestler. I'm pretty sure Pat McAfee, if he went out there and wrestled every night, he would be a lot like... Was the match perfect? Absolutely not. Was the match clean? Nah, absolutely not. Like, Pat McAfee does... Like, he would definitely need a lot more time, and honestly, I'm going to get into that in a minute. McAfee wastes no time, and Theory drops him, he wastes time. Theory, of course, drops him, puts a knee to the back, and yells to him, add him to more boos. Fans start singing Pat McAfee, the 7 Nation Army entrance thing, which... That would get very, very... I hope when he comes to the ring before SmackDown, which we'll talk about here in a minute, they play 7 Nation Army, and they got that for his theme when he comes out, because before the show starts, they would introduce... We've seen this before on WWE specials and everything. They introduce the talent, the commentators, and they get their entrance music plays. Pat McAfee's got to have 7 Nation Army be his entrance theme. Theory works him over, keeping control and wasting no time to show off. Theory with 2 suplexes, fans chant, "You suck." He jogs around the ring, taunting the crowd. He goes for a 3rd one, but McAfee counters it. Michael Cole is apoplectic, how he's just fucking like losing his mind. McAfee tries to knock Theory off the apron, sending him into the announce table. Vince is not happy. McAfee exits the match, exits the ring, puts the headset on, says he's whooping this fool's ass. His mom and dad are proud while he's beating some punk down, smacking him on the fucking the commentary desk over and over while doing commentary. The dude is fucking amazing. I'm going to tell you that right now. Tosses him back and tosses some water on him and payback on it from a week ago. Then slams his face in the announce table a few times. Vince is not happy at seeing this. McAfee goes to the top and looks out to the crowd as they hum his entrance theme. McAfee wastes no time but leaps to the swanton. This is it because Theory moves. Vince is all smiles now. Theory slams McAfee close for a close 2 count. He's frustrated at the referee. Theory stomps on McAfee. He tells Vince, "Why don't I go up? Why don't I go up?" So he goes up top. He's yelling at the crowd, "Shut up." Gives McAfee time to get up there. He stuns him. He goes for the superplex. Theory fights back, shoves him, and McAfee does what he did in his first match against Adam Cole and does a nice backflip, landing square on his feet. Picture perfect backflip. Theory's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Leaps up top, hits the superplex. Beautiful looking move. Beautiful all around. Falls over the pin, but Theory kicks out. McAfee stands tall and hulks up. He goes for the punt, but Theory dodges it and takes McAfee down by his knees. Theory with another shot. Theory looks out at Vince for more encouragement. Theory mounts McAfee in the right hands. Talks track and masterpiece face, but McAfee is defiant. Theory goes for the ATL. McAfee counters, rolls him up for the pin and the win. Pat McAfee wins his first match at WrestleMania. Cole is just out of his fucking mind that McAfee has won this match. Vince McMahon goes over and says, "Pal, sit the fuck down." So Cole sits down, like the whole time. Byron Saxton, Vince McMahon is right beside fucking Byron Saxton. He's near Byron Saxton. Byron Saxton's trying to keep everything cool because, Michael Cole is being absolutely crazy. Every time McAfee does something, he is just all over the place with this. And Byron Saxton's like, "Dude, calm down, because if you piss off Vince McMahon, you might be fired." So they're going crazy. They're having fun. McAfee's enjoying everything. Vince McMahon goes over to McAfee, says something to him, and then McAfee, for whatever fucking reason, goads Vince McMahon into the ring. Vince McMahon teases he's going to take his jacket off, puts it back on, and just walks away for a second. Stomps, takes the jacket off, takes the tie off, takes the jacket off. He's got the black tank top on underneath. Owen Saxton and begging McAfee to apologize. Vince takes his button top off, reveals the tank top, and fans big time. I don't know why. Referee meets Vince and Pat in the middle of the ring. And they say Vince McMahon is jacked. Michael Cole said Vince McMahon is jacked. What Byron Saxton did. He does not look jacked. He looks like he's flabby. He looks fucking flabby. I did not want to see this. He backs up, taunts McAfee, but just allows Austin Theory to drop McAfee from behind. Theory exits the ring, but Vince is still there. The bell rings. Vince clotheslines McAfee a few times, throws him into the fucking turnbuckle, and just has his way with him. "You still got it," chant breaks out, and I want to go to every single person who said that and smack the shit out of all of them. This was the drizzling shits. We did not need this. The match, the show was sold. We all thought, oh, it's just going to be Austin Theory, Pat McAfee. That's all you fucking needed. We did not need to see Vince McMahon in the fucking ring. He's 76 years old. And on top of that, McAfee gets beat by Vince McMahon as he gets punched in the chest with a football. Vince McMahon pins him, and that was that. Theory kicks McAfee out of the ring. Vince turns tall and the music stops, and Cole checks on McAfee. Theory hits the corner as opposed as Vince looks on, monitoring him from keep posing in the other corner. Theory opens his arms for a hug from Vince. Now Vince opens his arms and they embrace in the middle of the ring. Vince raises Theory's arm in the victory. Music starts back up. Vince looks a little surprised by Theory's music. They continue celebrating till out comes Stone Cold Steve Austin, who comes to the ring. Austin's into the rings. He has some words with Vince. Theory tries to attack him. Austin fights back, hits the stunner. Austin Theory with one of the best sells of all time. The Rock, of course, has the best sells ever. But he takes the stunner, leaps up in the fucking air, all of his fucking limbs just fucking flop around, and he falls over and rolls out of the ring. Austin goes to look at McMahon. McMahon's like, I want to have a beer with you. I want to have a beer with you. He's like, oh, you want to have a beer with me? So they have a beer. Vince McMahon tastes the beer because I guess he's a wine guy. He's like, oh, that's pretty damn good. He's like, we got this, right? We're good. We'll come by it. We're good, right? Obviously, Vince McMahon goes to get hit with a stunner, gets kicked in the gut, falls to one fucking knee, stumble backwards, and Vince McMahon gets hit with one of the absolute worst stunners ever. Absolute worst stunners. Nothing will top Linda McMahon at Raw. What was it? Raw 1000, or I think it was Raw 1000. When all 4 members of the McMahon family got stunned. Vince took an okay one that night. Stephanie and James took pretty good ones. And then Linda got nervous and just fell to the side as Austin tried to stun her. It was absolutely atrocious. This was right up there. So Austin celebrates a little bit more. Gets a couple beers. He got Pat McAfee to come in. They celebrate up on the turnbuckles. They get another batch. They drink some more. And Matt McAfee gets stunned. Takes the stunner, shoots up and just falls over his beer, shoots out of his mouth. So Austin's celebrating. Pat McAfee is shown on outside taking one of these beers and just holding it above his head as he's gargling the thing. Outside of the shit with Vince McMahon, because all you had to do, you didn't have to have a match with Vince McMahon and Pat McAfee. You just could have had Pat McAfee attacked by Austin Theory. Austin and Vince McMahon beat the shit out of Pat McAfee until Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out and does everything else. That would have been fine. The fact that you had Vince McMahon go in there and 50-50 book Pat McAfee in what will probably be his next to only WrestleMania. Now, this was something it's been itching my head. It's been getting me in the back of the head. What if this is Vince McMahon doing all this and we come out on Friday and Pat McAfee is released from his WWE contract? Maybe they had him signed for a year. Maybe that's all they're going to do with Pat McAfee, and Pat McAfee will be gone from SmackDown for good. He'll go back to his Pat McAfee show. He had his 1 year in WWE as a commentator, and they'll put somebody else on SmackDown with Michael Cole. I hope the fuck that's not true. We go to Friday night and Pat McAfee's still there. But I just have this thought of they're doing all this, and you had Vince McMahon kick him in the gut. I was half expecting Vince McMahon to get a mic and say, Pat McAfee, you're fired. And then I end the entire thing with Pat McAfee being fired on WrestleMania night. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But they did all of this so you could get Stone Cold stunning Vince McMahon one more time. Such a fucking shame. Could have just had, like I said, you could have just had Pat McAfee get beat up by Vince McMahon and Austin Theory. That's all you needed to do. Just because you had Austin last night, which was fine, but I hope to never see him wrestle again. Just because you had Austin last night does not mean you needed to have Vince McMahon wrestle tonight. It wasn't even a wrestling match. It was just Pat McAfee gets attacked by Austin Theory. He gets clotheslined a couple times. Austin Theory trips him and low blows him. He gets a football punt into his chest and he gets pinned. You had something good there for a minute, and then you fucked it all up. For what reason, I don't know. All to get a moment between Austin and McMahon one last time on WrestleMania. Time for the main event. Winner-take-all unification match. Brock Lesnar versus Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Well, if you would have went into this expecting an epic clash between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, have you watched these two wrestle in the last 6 years? 6, 7, 8, what is it? WrestleMania 31, WrestleMania 34, SummerSlam 2018? I think so? 2018? Yeah, 2018. Saudi Arabia last year. It's a copy and paste. Every fucking match is the fucking same between these two. I had no care for this match at all going in. I did not expect anything good from this match. I expected the same shit, different day. Suplex, 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 spear, spear, Superman punch, one F, a couple F, an F5, a spear, and that's it. What else do you expect? Did you expect anything? Oh yeah, Roman Reigns in a big title match like this. Spear somebody through the barricade. It's on his contract, just like Randy Orton dropping somebody on the on the announce table. Every single fucking time. If you actually expected a 5-star epic clash between these two, you were sadly mistaken. Roman Reigns is your unified Universal WWE and Universal Champion. What does this mean? If it was me, Roman Reigns retires the Universal Championship. He is your WWE Champion. The WWE title's on SmackDown. But they need a title for Raw. This is real simple. Raw, the Universal title needs to go away and they need a reset. WWE just signed and brought in Cody Rhodes. What would it not be? And I'm not a big Cody Rhodes fan. I haven't been for at least a year and a half. Ever since the start of last year, I just started to like Cody started to sour on me. But they have an ample opportunity to do something. Get a new championship, something that doesn't look like the WWE Championship. Get a different title and make it I don't know what you want to call it. What you could call it the World Heavyweight Championship if you want to bring back the big gold belt or some kind of championship. And have a tournament that goes between now, not Monday, and WrestleMania Backlash. Cody Rhodes should be the first champion of this new championship. You sign this guy for multi-year, $3 to $4 million, I hear. You better do something with him immediately. Strike while the iron is hot. Roman is going to be champion on SmackDown. Give Cody Rhodes the ball and actually see if he can run with it. I don't think he can. I don't think he should be any higher than the Intercontinental title or United States Championship. That's just me. He is a good wrestler. He is a good storyteller. But when it comes to being the guy, I just don't see it in Cody Rhodes. He can be a guy, and I just don't see him being the face of a company. He wanted to be in AEW. He made that stupid stipulation that happened that he pushed for. It was his idea, mind you. His idea. But if you really want to see to the fans if Cody Rhodes can be the guy on a brand, retire the Universal Championship, make Roman Reigns the greatest Universal Champion of all time, retire that championship, give him this title, the WWE Championship, and then have him hold it until whatever the fuck they feel like having Braun Breaker. Honestly, if anybody's going to take the title off of Roman Reigns, it's got to be Braun Breaker at WrestleMania 39. Or 39 or 40. Maybe WrestleMania 40. If Rock versus Roman happens next year, then whatever the fuck they're going to be in 2024, that's when Roman Reigns loses the Universal Championship or the championship to a Braun Breaker who's not ready yet, but can be ready by that time. But I would hold a tournament. Seth, AJ, Edge, Cody, four guys right there. Bobby Lashley, Damian Priest. That's 6 right there. Find 2 other guys. I can't think off the top of my head because I don't have the list in front of me. And have an 8-man tournament. Singles matches. 1-on-1. And it comes down to Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Rematch from WrestleMania. But this time, it's for the inaugural, whatever the fuck you want to name it, championship. Cody beats Seth again. Cody becomes the Raw champion for however long between WrestleMania Backlash and SummerSlam. That's a nice little title run. And see if he can be the guy on Raw. Be the face of Monday Night Raw. Because if you don't do something that's as big as Cody Rhodes being the first person to be the new champion, whatever it's going to be, WWE, Universal, whatever. Retire the Universal title, have WWE champion being on Roman Reigns, and have a new championship. Hell, like I said, bring back the gold belt. Bring back the big gold belt and just have the World Heavyweight Championship on SmackDown. On Monday Night Raw. Cody wins that championship and holds it and actually make that title mean something. Honestly, we'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to actually happen with the WWE and Universal Championship. Unify them, retire one, keep the other, and start fresh on Monday Night Raw, starting tomorrow with a new championship coming at WrestleMania Backlash. With an 8-man tournament with Seth and Cody Rhodes in the finals. Sounds like a good idea to me. Edge, of course, would be in the tournament, but he would probably lose his match by disqualification, or by disqualification or something else. Damian Priest would do the same thing because they have other fish to fry, but they need 8 bodies. I don't know. We have to see what happens. Tomorrow is going to be a very interesting night. Cody Rhodes is going to be on that show. He's made it very clear that he will be there. It is midnight right now when I'm taping this. 8 hours from now, Cody Rhodes better be the very first fucking thing we see on Monday night. Also on Monday night, we got to see Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar retired 2 years ago at WrestleMania in front of nobody when he lost to Drew McIntyre. He quietly retired. They brought him back for this build between SummerSlam and now, and it's honestly been the best fucking run of his entire career. Brock Lesnar needs to come out on Monday Night Raw, announce his retirement, do what Triple H did tonight, have his wrestling boots, lay him in the ring, thank the WWE Universe for this crazy ride that he had, go off to be whatever he wants to be, probably fishing and hunting and whatever else, and leave the chapter of WWE behind him. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be very interesting. I will be here for every single thing tomorrow. But that is your Monday. That is your WrestleMania Night 2 review. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the Frowns Club. Find me on Twitch.tv/Frowns Club. And find me on Instagram at the Frowns Club. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the night after WrestleMania. The biggest night in the entire WWE. So then, my name is the Frowns, and I'll see you guys later.